Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to our program today. We are going to be getting started in about a minute. We're waiting for a couple other folks to arrive, but while we are waiting, feel free to use the chat to introduce yourself, the name of your business or who you're with. And we're also curious to know how you heard about our program today. So we want to know if you heard about it through our newsletter or through social media. That really helps us know how we get the word out there. Thanks so much for being here. If you just joined, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself if you'd like in the chat with your name and your business name or your organization, that would be great. And we'd love to hear about how you heard about the program. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So thanks everybody for joining us today. My name is Megan Lewis. I am the public funding navigator here at Arts Alliance Illinois. And we're really excited about our program today. We're going to be focusing on the Cook County Sources Business Support Organizations. We're going to be hearing a little bit more about what those organizations do and how you can access those resources. For anybody who needs to have closed captions, you're welcome to turn those on as needed to assist you with being able to follow today's program. So, as I said, I'm Megan Lewis with Arts Alliance Illinois, and we have with us today Brian Crowe, who's Executive Director of the Berwyn Development Corporation, who's going to talk a little bit more about BDC's services, their innovative programs, and their initiatives. And we have Dee Munoz, who's the founder and owner of BoothyChicago, who, along with her daughter, are going to share their entrepreneurial journey, lessons that they've learned, and any insights that they have from working with BDC. And with other community partners that have helped her really bring her creative vision to life. For their program today, I'm going to talk a little bit first about Arts Alliance Illinois, and then also give you an overview of the small business source. And then we'll turn it over to Brian and Dee to share their experiences and have more of a conversation about how they work together and what things you could learn from them. So we do have time at the end for questions. Go ahead and you can pop those into the chat or into the Q&A, and we will get to those near the end of the program. If you're here today that you're looking for specific information and supports for your creative small business, also feel free to put those into the chat because we are collecting information on what information we could be sharing for future programming so we can make sure that you get the resources that you need for your creative business. So before we get into the heart of the program, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about Arts Alliance Illinois and the small business source. So for those of you who aren't familiar with us, Arts Alliance is the statewide arts advocacy organization. We have individual and organizational members across all disciplines in Illinois. And our mission is to build the creative sector's power through advocacy, policy change, and connection to resources to improve the quality of life in communities statewide. And we do this work through 5 different areas of focus. We do work related to advocacy. We are first and foremost an advocacy organization where we organize and equip the sector to be able to advocate for their own financial and policy interests. We have a creative worker support program, and my colleague Sasha Ontenko has joined us today. She'll be a part of the program a little bit later on. But that work is where we're trying to really increase the number of artists and creative workers who are thriving in their professional pathways. And we also work with them to understand policy recommendations that we need to advocate for to support and protect workers. Our arts education pillar is incredibly important to us. We are working hard to ensure that all Illinois K-12 students have access to high quality arts learning during the school day, no matter where they are. Our public funding navigation program, which I'm a part of, we work to connect creatives with public resources, new resources, and help you navigate the complex government systems that we often face. And then research is really important for us to be able to get the data that we need for our case making and to be able to increase public understanding of arts, culture, and creativity. So through our advocacy and our work, we're trying to connect the sector with the resources to make us have a thriving sector across Illinois. One key component of our work is the help desk. And our help desk, which I and Sasha both oversee, we help creatives find and apply for public funding. We help answer questions that you have of things that you're running into. We try to connect people with each other. So we really field any kind of question or issue that you're facing in your artistic creative practice. You can come to the help desk, visit us on our webpage. You can submit a question through the link that was in the chat, and you can also check out our resources that we have there. So as I've referred to previously, Arts Alliance is actually a new referral partner for the Cook County Small Business Source Program, which is what's bringing you this webinar today. So I am not with Cook County, but I'm going to do a quick overview of what the Source Program is all about. So next slide, please. And while we're doing that, I just want to mention that we do have an ASL interpreter with us, Taylor. If you see interpreter Taylor on your screen and you need to have those services, please make sure and pin her. Thanks. So the Cook County Small Business Source is an initiative within Cook County that's meant to help support, grow, and elevate small businesses by providing no-cost business advising services, access to capital, and they also have events that you can attend to help support your business. The three pieces are the business advising. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today, how people connect with an organization that does the business advising services that you may need with a business plan, connect you to different procurement opportunities, connect you to financial resources, et cetera. The source also has a number of events. You can go to their webpage and find out about virtual sessions, in-person sessions, things that will help you upskill your work. And then capital resources. We're actually going to have a webinar next month on the Access to Capital program. It's a new part of the source, but they're providing a way for folks to be able to access loans, lines of credit, and be able to apply for other funding. Next slide, please. So the source has 13 business support organizations. Today we're joined by Berwyn, but there's other organizations that you can reach out to. These are not limited to where you are living. You can reach out to any of these different organizations. They give you expertise across all different sectors. They have language services provided, and they have a cohort this year of 40 plus referral partners, which is Arts Alliance is one of those referral partners. Next slide, please. And this is what we're going to be covering in our webinar next month on September 8th is the Access to Capital program that they have just started. So they partner with community financial institutions, essentially lenders, who are able to provide folks with capital products that can range as small as $1,000 up to $500,000. So the 5 organizations that are listed here are the CFIs that are working with Cook County who can help connect you to those financial resources. Next slide, please. And then business advising. And that's the thing that's really exciting is that you can sign up at any time to be able to talk to a business advisor. You can use the QR code that's on the screen to get the link to it. You can also visit cookcountysmallbiz.org to be able to sign up for a conversation with someone. Next slide, please. All right, so we've talked a lot about business support organizations in general, who they are, what they do, but now we're going to have an opportunity to hear directly from someone who does run one of those organizations in Berwyn. So I'm going to pass it over to Brian, who's going to tell us more about BDC and how they help to support small businesses. Thanks, Brian.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you to the Arts Alliance for having me and us. My colleague, Dominique Carmona, is on as well. She runs our shops program here at the BDC. So just a little bit about the Berwyn Development Corp, and then we'll talk a little bit about our work as a BSO for Cook County that we're very proud of. But the BDC, we are a public-private entity based in Berwyn. We're not the city of Berwyn, but we are what I'd like to say is we're an instrument of the city of Berwyn. So they are like our key partner. But we do four main things here. One is economic development services, and that's often redevelopment of real estate, working with developers, looking for opportunities to enhance commercial corridors in Berwyn. We also have a Chamber of Commerce here, which is about 275 members. That is really about building connection amongst our existing businesses here. So how do we work to support companies and integrate them into the community and help them thrive in Berwyn? We have our shops program, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, which is really our retail incubation arm. How do we help businesses start and then ultimately grow and succeed in Berwyn over time? And then finally, we have community events, large-scale community events that are really meant to build community pride. So we have on August 29th, our Route 66 car show that happens on Ogden Avenue, where we'll have 800 classic and lowrider and all different types of cars, which is a really fun event. We should have, as long as we have good weather, knock on wood, thousands of people that come out to have food and look at cars and have a good time. We also have a big Fall Fest, which is we used to call it Oktoberfest, but this year we're calling it Fall Fest, which is bands and market vendors and just general kind of community, again, community pride, community well-being. So those are really the four main things that we do. Again, a lot in concert with the city of Berwyn, but then also just to see how we can help Berwyn's people, community, and businesses thrive. So that's really kind of the mission of the organization, and how do we help our businesses be as successful as possible here. And through that, we have a lot of expertise that exists here in the organization. And so our work, we've been a BSO for several years. I'm fairly new, but my understanding was really kind of post-COVID. We partnered with the county to do a lot of business advising as businesses were pivoting in COVID and looking for new ways of operation and how could they address many of the challenges that they were facing. We were taking on the role of advising businesses, a lot of times on marketing, maybe pivoting to more digital marketing, digital presence, digital sales, and also just operationally doing compliance with rules and regulations and making sure that businesses were meeting the expectations of where they were and what they were doing. So as that program got formalized, we were, as Megan said, doing a certain number of meetings with clients every month. We do, typically we're in the 100 plus kind of business advising sessions that we're encountering with businesses on a monthly basis. A lot of times that's, again, to provide assistance in access to capital. So what types of capital requirements does a business have? Where could they go to get some of those resources? Maybe sometimes it's talking with a business where they feel like they may need capital, but maybe it's something else that they might need. Maybe they need an operations plan or some efficiency work done, or some other type of consulting, if you will, that the business might require that would help them to be successful. Other side of that, the other side of access to resources is typically in marketing help. We have a lot of expertise in business marketing, how you find demographic information around your business and then target market some of your key sectors that could help drive more business. And what's really interesting, I think, is how we've done the shops. The shops is how we came to know Dee and her business. We're on our 5th season of the shops. And if you don't know, it's a physical space on Roosevelt Road on the north side of our city where we had some city-owned land. And we partnered with the city and some other partners to put up some physical spaces for businesses to be in. And so we're on the 5th season of that program. Each year we have 12 new vendors come in. They work the shops from May through December, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it gives businesses who might be at-home operations the opportunity to come into a physical space and see um, what a retail operation might look like, brick and mortar. And then in recent years, we've started a program where if a business completes their time in the shops and um, there's a different kind of grading criteria that exists for it, that they could be eligible for funding to go to another brick and mortar retail space in the city of Berwyn. And so um, we've had several great success stories with it where businesses have gone to a brick and mortar location full time to open operations and have found success there as well. So we're proud of those efforts and what's come out of it. And, you know, interested and excited to talk more. And for you all to hear Dee's story as Dee talks more about her comings up and how she got involved with the Berwyn Shops, and then happy to answer any questions anybody has going forward.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian, for that overview. I would like to pass the mic now over to Dee and Mia, who are with Boothy Chicago.
Awesome.
And you guys, we would love to hear more about your business journey and how the Berwyn Development Corporation really helped you bring your idea to life.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you everyone for being here today. It's a great opportunity. My name is Doris Munoz. I am the maker and creator here at Boothy Chicago. This is my daughter, Mia. She's the head of our media management here. Boothy Chicago is a woman-owned and operated Latina business originating on the southwest side of Chicago in the West Lawn area. We were established in 2018 officially. I've always been a pretty creative person since high school, just creating things for myself as a teen in my parents' kitchen, jewelry, bracelets, painting my bags, things like that. I grew up during the Chicago 90s graffiti art era, and I did have quite a few friends that were into the graffiti scene. So that really played a huge role in my love for the street art culture as well as pop art. As I grew up, I would attend festivals and things like that, and I would see other artists making. I started to accumulate little bits of equipment here and there, from a vinyl cutter to a laser engraver, learning how to screen print and things like that. And I started to see others popping up at festivals, so I thought maybe I could do that as well. It was quite a surprise. It was nice to see, and it was a growing market. So I learned a lot of things. I enjoyed different mediums and learning about how to work with wood, spray paint, clay, wire, as well as other things. And I started to create my own home studio. And in 2019, I came across an ad on Instagram by a well-known now Latina in Pilsen. She was having a Father's Day event, and I made the leap and went ahead and applied. The only thing was that I did jewelry, but it was a Father's Day event, so it had to be all Father's Day oriented, which was quite the challenge, but we pulled off a large amount of products, so that was really nice. And we got to meet a lot of artists it was like a whole new world to us. There was all of these artists in Chicago that were making and creating and moving forward in the art scene. I made quite a few friends, and then some of them introduced me to Berwyn Shops. A lot of them actually were able to make it onto the cohorts and have those opportunities for a shop. So that was really inspiring. So we've been popping up for the last 7 years in festivals. We've done the House Music Festival. We've done the Beverly Art Walk. I think we've done the Villapalooza as well as others and farmers markets. And that kind of, continue to fuel our fire and create. And then we went ahead and came across the Berwyn Shops accepting new artists. So we went ahead and applied, and we got lucky enough to be able to present, and we did. We presented in front of Berwyn Shops, and they offered us a space, which was really great because they've allowed us to create what was, I guess, from our products, to create an actual creative space and what that would look like from, I guess, like online to reality, right? So I thought that was really nice that we got to create that into reality, and they gave us a lot of tools. So what really called to me from Berwyn Shops was that they do offer a lot of mentoring, and they're there to help you and kind of assist in your growth. And sometimes when you're a small maker, there isn't too many mentors or people willing to help you. So that was always really nice to have Berwyn Shops be able to do that. So we kept popping up, and then of course 2020 came around and shut everybody down. So we just found other outlets. We launched our website at that time. We pushed a lot of the social media and tried to connect. And then once, you know, those things were lifted, we were able to continue to pop up, and it's been quite a ride. And I really look forward to everything that that's going to come from this. It definitely has been a lot of learning and growth. So that's a really great experience so far.
Thanks so much, Dee. It was so great to hear all of that about how you got to where you are and the supports that you found. I am now going to pass it over to my colleague, Sasha Ontenko. Sasha heads our Creative Worker Program, and we've been talking a little bit about the kind of information I think our audience would love to hear from both you and Brian. So, Sasha, I'm going to pass it over to you to start this conversation.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, I'm really pleased to be here also on behalf of Arts Alliance Illinois, and keep the questions coming in the chat. There's some real great ones. We also, again, also have our help desk to provide more one-on-one support and curated support. But any questions also that you might have for Brian or for Doris or Dee, you can definitely put that in the chat. I think the relationship between the business or support organizations and creative small businesses can be, especially with what's been happening in Berwyn, there's like a very strong model for what other municipalities can learn from, I think, because of what we've seen Berwyn do to prioritize the arts. So I think just starting with there, Brian, I'd be curious from your lens, what role you see arts and culture playing in Berwyn's development in the present. What's the role it's playing where you can see future opportunities?
I think, I think the arts are incredibly important for community building in general. And, from we have really the fortunate perspective in this organization of being like a holistic type of community development organization. And when you think about all of the places where a community needs support in order to grow and thrive and be the best version of itself, I think that the arts are a critical component of that. If you want people to live, work, shop, play, stay, activate in a community, having spaces where people feel comfortable, but also just inspired to be. I think the arts are a great way to unlock that in people, even when they don't necessarily even notice it. So having murals on the sides of buildings or the fronts of buildings, or having public art in places where people are just gathering, even if they're just getting on the train to go to work in the morning, having art pop-ups, music pop-ups in places where people are going out with friends on a Thursday night. Like those kinds of things to me are what give a place its vibrancy and its really like its soul and identity. And so like having businesses who are involved in the arts and who are having creatives in the community. And that to me, I probably take maybe even a broader definition than others would. Like when I think about Berwyn, like Berwyn is a retail entrepreneurial family owned business town. Like we don't have many national chains. There are some that are here, but we're not a national chain town. We're a family owned business, retail entrepreneurship type of community. And so having the arts for people to engage with and interact with, and having places for the creatives that live here and work here, and supporting them however we can, if that's through helping them with access to capital or helping them with marketing, giving space for those things to happen. We had an initiative with the Berwyn Public Arts Initiative, which is a local 501c3 nonprofit here, where we had some access to some space where they were doing like paper lantern making sessions with the community. And we were able to facilitate them to have some space to bring the community in and to do those types of projects, bringing people together around art. We're in the process right now. We got a nice grant from Cook County to do a art park, which is going to be on Roosevelt Road, not too far from where the shops are, where it's a kind of a third space, if you will, a place where we're going to have murals and a stage for public performances. And I really hope that we see, not just like acoustic guitars and music, but also like having, poetry readings and having other types of like gatherings and performances where people can really express themselves. Like that to me is, I think we need more of that in this day and age. Like we're so glued to our phones and devices in all ways, shapes, and forms. And so to find like ways that we can bring art and into our work as economic and community developers, as is my case, like I think is really important. And I'm really, really interested in finding businesses like Dee and Mia's, like when I went in there and saw their work and how creative, how fun it was, just their attitude, their disposition. I really, I want to find more businesses like them and them themselves that we can support in a way to make them successful. Because that to me, it just really kind of creates the community identity that one, I think is Berwyn, first of all, but then two, is the place that people really want to spend time and invest with their family and their friends and just to be in and to enjoy.
Awesome. Yeah, I think what I'm hearing there, Brian, is like almost there's always the economic lens and the business lens of dollars and cents and numbers and profits, and there's that, but like there's a soul. There's something that like brings that to life. And so with that in mind, like my counter and like my flip to Doris as an artist, as a business owner, with all of the artist mindset you spoke about, your origin story, and like what the role that art has played for you coming up in Chicago and as a young person to where you are present day. And it's so cool to see also your if you want to introduce also who is with you today. I know together you're really taking your business into other directions, but if you would as part of introducing her, like speak to what it's been like now as an artist to dive into being a business owner, really adopting that business mindset. So it's like I see Berwyn Development Corporation's like we're business, but we need more. We really see the power of the arts and like embracing that. And you're an artist now having to embrace the business. What's that been like? And do you have like stories or experiences around that to share with who's watching, who's here with us today?
Yeah, so creating a community space, I think, for small businesses is very crucial. the community is very important for small businesses. My daughter, Mia, she has taken on the media management and has also helped in brainstorming. We don't only just create jewelry, hats, tees, and hoodies and things like that. We've actually had to create workshops that we've had just that kind of grew from the experience of being at Berwyn Shops. You know, we decorated our shop how we thought it embodied Boothy Chicago. And as people came in, you know, they admired a lot of our artwork on the walls, in particular, one of our sparrows. And of course, when you're creating, you don't limit it, right? So it's for everybody. And people were trying to buy my art off of the wall that was just a decoration. And I wanted to put together a workshop to bring the community out to kind of get to know us, you know, build that community sense, and get them to want to support us as well in return. So we went ahead and we created a propagation station just from the wall art. I didn't want to just have some wall art. To me, I'm always a very functional person, so I wanted to make it like, what else does it do? It just sits on the wall, big deal. So we created a propagation station. I'm a big plant person, and I know that a lot of people nowadays really like greenery and plants and things like that. So we had our first workshop in July, and it sold out, which was really great because we were kind of having meltdowns even a week before that we hadn't sold any tickets. So it was really nice to see that, you know, that people came out and didn't disappoint. And I had never taught a workshop ever, so that was a first. And you know, into my toolbox of things now that I've collected at Berwyn Shops. And you know, it was really nice. I thought it was really great. Everybody finished their sparrows. Everybody was able to hands-on paint them, create them how they wanted to do them for their home. I helped everybody wire the bases to their sparrow. We sealed them, and everybody ended up leaving with a little plant cutting. And till now, even just last weekend, I had people asking when the next one was going to be. And I really think that, you know, community really plays a huge part with small businesses as well as our marketing, because that gets the community to come out and support.
Yeah, so media marketing is really important because it helps bring the creative product and our community into like a recognizable brand. So using our platform, like it helped tell the brand story, and it helps increase sales, of course. And I feel I know how to market because I'm 19, so I'm always online. So I know like what people like to see. So it definitely came in handy with like advertising on TikTok or on Instagram. We go hand in hand together because she's more on like the Instagram side, I'm more on the TikTok side. So we definitely do collab with each other. And yeah, like I said, it does connect with community. Like she was saying, we had a workshop not too long ago, and so many people were coming in and they were like, oh, I saw this on TikTok, or they'll see something that we have advertised. They'll come in and be like, I came just to see this. Like, I want these things. And it felt really good, like in my heart, like, oh my gosh, like people are actually seeing our videos. People want to buy our things. So yeah, it also really helps promote events and our products. And it does help also measure like what works, what comes with our engagement, like our views, our follows, our sales. It definitely helps us determine what is more effective for our business. And overall, media just serves as like a bridge between brand and our audience.
Yes, and we're actually getting ready. We just released our new flyer for our next event. We're gonna have on September the 5th. We're gonna have a DJ come out from noon to 2. He's gonna play some house music as well as some old classical music. And we're inviting all of the community as well as anybody here to come out to Berwyn Shops. We're at 6931 Roosevelt in Berwyn. We're going to have free gifts for the first 9 shoppers. We're going to have special sales. And, you know, it's just going to be a kind of like an end of summer vibe just to kind of get the community out. Berwyn Shops is very family oriented. We just recently had an event of loteria, and of course, who doesn't like loteria? So of course it was a hit. Despite the rain, the community came out, and you know, for all of the vendors there, it's such a meaningful time. Not just that they came out, but you know that they do shop and they do come out and they have positive feedback for everybody, which we always welcome. Which actually kind of goes into our customizing, because it gives us a time to chat with people about customizing their products, which we do a lot of customization and personalization. We're actually working on a couple now, but we've done from cake toppers to quinceañera favors and T-shirts, and just we work with a lot of our small business friends. You know, we make promotional items for them, T-shirts, hats, just anything. We support our local vendors as well, and we try to supply, you know, or resource our supplies locally, because that also helps, I think, the community.
Oh, there's so many good nuggets in here, Doris and Dee and Mia for Boothy Chicago. There was a question in the chat if there are photos from your event, or if you have any media, maybe if you wanted to drop in the chat your social handle, if there's maybe some things there. Looks like there's some interest about that business idea, and I think this is really the hope of these webinars, is that it inspires ideas to inspires any aspiring creative small business owners on the call to really think about how to expand, right? And what we talked about in a previous webinar is how, you know, sometimes for the artist, they're depending on your artistic practice or your creative medium, like that can take a number of directions, but aligning that with what market demand is and having a way to engage and test that out and build relationships along the way it's not it could be new for someone, right? Whose art has been very close and personal, but there's, I think, a lot in the risk of really trying things and really keeping it community oriented the way you have at Boothy Chicago. Dee, I mean, what a really amazing journey so far. It's I guess like you mentioned kind of what's next with like testing out, you know, new products, new lines with the workshops. Anything else you mentioned the event coming up. If you want to throw that also in the chat, feel free. But anything else you wanted to speak to with what's next for Boothy Chicago?
Yeah, so I mean, we're super excited about what's in for the future at Boothy Chicago. We want to keep going. We want to keep offering workshops. I mean, I never saw myself more of a teacher. I do, like you said, when you're a maker, you really do have to adjust to the business mindset and being able to recognize the business opportunity, kind of like we did with the wall art and creating a workshop. I've actually just recently, a young lady asked about them again, and she asked if we did private events. I've never done a private event for a workshop, but I'm open to it. And I think that as a maker, sometimes you're too busy with the making aspect to really step back into the business role, but you really do have to know the ins and outs of your business on a business mindset, not only just as a maker. We will drop the flyer for our upcoming event. It is on our Instagram page already as of today. On Instagram, you can find us at Boothy_Chicago, or you can go to BoothyChicago.com. We're also on TikTok and Facebook at Boothy Chicago. I'll drop in some of the links there as well, but we hope to be able to end Berwyn Shops on a positive note and go into our own brick and mortar store we do hope to open our doors to other small makers, like we've been able to get into stores. We've been, able to get into Andersonville Galleria, Engineers Boutique in Pilsen, and we want to do that as well as give back to the community and continue with our workshops and just building that sense of family with community, because it really is so important for small businesses.
Thank you, Dee and Mia for Boothy Chicago. And Brian, anything with Berwyn Development Corporation coming up? Like, what's next for BDC? I know you mentioned the art making, the art plaza, the public art plaza, but
Yeah, I mean, I think that we are, really at an interesting point where we have some kind of larger scale projects going, like you were talking about earlier. I think it's important that we embrace the arts and we look to the arts to incorporate into opportunities that we have in the community. But also realizing like that there is like this dollars and cents component that we have to figure out how to pay for things and make things work. But I do think that like supporting makers and creators, I think it can drive so many opportunities for the community, not just for the artists themselves, but like residents and other businesses in the area. And so like really, we've done some work on Roosevelt Road to figure out how we can, we have a lot of music halls and the shops, and now this art park that's going in. So how do we create more of a corridor of arts and entertainment to like bring in more people to see it? Because ultimately, yes, figuring out how to make these things sustainable long term, and creating some of that sustainability to me is also really important. And so we want to do things that are going to help the small businesses, but then also make them viable long term. And part of Doris's and Mia's story, that Dee and Mia's story that I thought was so impressive was just that story about the Sparrow, where they recognized, hey, there was this interest at this wall art, and so they pivoted their business in order to make that work. And we see it a lot in a lot of the advising that we do at the BSO, where a majority, some months, 99% of who we work with are businesses under 10 people. Largely, I think 65-70% of the time per month, it changes month to month, but we'll see women-owned businesses. We'll see a majority of the businesses are people of color. So we have like a very diverse small business network of people that we're working with, that they don't just have to live in Berwyn. That's something I should have said earlier. We work with a lot of people throughout Cook County. They might live in the city and work in suburban Cook, or they might live in suburban Cook and work in the city. They might have a regular full-time job that helps them pay the bills, but then they're working to launch kind of their dream in the shops, where then they're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, trying to promote this side hustle, passion project, whatever you want to call it, but then like turning it into, like, we want to give people the opportunity to see if they could turn it into a full-time opportunity that would maybe replace some of that in the future. So to me, it is really inspirational to find a business that somebody's been thinking about for a long time. They've been dreaming about. It's a passion of theirs, and if there's a way that we can help them make it their full-time role, their life's kind of work and passion, I think it's an incredibly powerful thing. And so it is a really cool thing to have as a tool to help people reach their dreams. So yeah, I think it's a really neat project, and we're continuing to evolve and grow it. So like, this is season 5, and like season 6 will probably look a little bit different than season 5, and maybe we'll try to I don't know, we've had different conversations about can we get more makers, and I think the one theme that you see in a lot of the businesses there, that there is like a lot of personalization, there is a lot of experiential, like all of the shops vendors are required to do some workshops throughout the year. And so like forcing them to like look outside of maybe the comfort zone and find new ways to engage and find opportunities is important. So, yeah, what's next for Berwyn? I mean, we're kind of all in on the community, but on the county as a whole and helping how we can. And I think a little bit about the arts conversation is like the hierarchy of needs, right? Like you want to like evolve to get to like those higher places where people are enjoying their community and their lives through experiential opportunities. And I think the arts is a great way to collaborate and bring people together. So I think we need more of that in our day and age.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. City of Berwyn, West Suburban Cook County is so lucky to have business support organizations like Berwyn Development Corporation and creative small businesses like BoothyChicago. We really appreciate you both being here to speak to not only both the journey to like entrepreneurial and as an economic development corporation, really looking to bring different stakeholders together, but really like the community has been at the center of all of it. And so hopefully there we can see more of that across all of Cook County. And pleased to have you here. Thank you both. I'm going to pass the virtual mic back to Megan.
Thank you, Sasha. I actually, I've got a couple questions before Brian and Dee sign off. So Brian, we probably have a few people on this call who've never gone to talk to somebody like Berwyn, DC. Like they haven't talked to a business advisor. And I'm wondering, what would you suggest that they do when they're going to connect with a BSO? Like should they prepare anything? Should they make sure they have certain questions on hand? Like what would be the best thing for them to walk in the door with?
Yeah, I think, certainly to come with, I just think, honestly, like my initial kind of response to that is to just like come with whatever your ideas are and to bring your ideas forward and, identify in a clear way, like what you feel like your challenges are. And, we've talked to, we work with businesses that are quite large to businesses that are like sole proprietors, like it's just one person who might have like been dreaming of this idea for a while. And so to help navigate what's out there, do you need to, like if the question is on real estate, if it's on funding, if it's on marketing, if it's on financial systems, if it's on securing more help for what it is that you're already doing, like it could be any number of scenarios that we talk with businesses about. And so I think just like an openness and a willingness to know that we're here and that we're like happy to meet you where you are and, give you advice as to what we think that best pathway might be. And a lot of times that might be us telling you, hey, you should talk to these three people. It's just really providing a connective kind of way for you to find like the next real conversation that you should have. I'll give you an example. We have a business in Berwyn that talked to us about wanting to expand her business in a way that was completely different from her existing business. And she was credit worthy and could go to a bank and borrow the money that she needed to at kind of market terms in order to fund this next really creative endeavor. She's in the creative space. So it was like another creative endeavor that she wanted to bolt on to her existing business in a totally different way. I'm sorry I'm being vague, but I don't want to say too much about her without her being here. So, but anyway, like through the CFIs, through the lending organizations that exist, that you guys are going to have the webinar next month, we found an organization. There's an organization It's the Jewish lending organization. I'm getting their name wrong, but they'll do like up to $20,000 of zero interest loans. And so, like from a borrowing perspective, to go to the market and get money at 6 or 7% versus having a zero interest line of dollars available to her to expand her business. She was credit worthy. She runs a good business. She could go to that bank and get that money. But if she's able to save some by going to this other group in order to get those funds, that's a tremendous savings for her over time. And so, a lot of times people will say like, hey, like, where are the grants at? And certainly sometimes there are grants depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. But if we can even help you save some money and making sure that you're doing that in the right way, or give you advice about opening a line of credit for your business. If you're in the, if you're a landscaper and you go for a line of credit in December when you're not really collecting a lot of receipts, your chances of getting a substantial line are pretty low with the financial institution. But if you do that when you're billing a lot of work in the summertime, for example, when you're getting a lot of work, your opportunity to get a line of credit is that much greater when you go in July versus December. So it's like really kind of practical applications of business actions, business takes when, if it's not your daily business, if it's not the thing that you're interested in every day, it's just new. And so there's I think there's possibilities and opportunities to just come with whatever questions that you might have, concerns, problems, whatever roadblocks are in your way. And, we've like literally have worked with over the years now, thousands of businesses. And so the experience is there, and the opportunity to find pathways to success is there, and literally anyone who's in Cook County can either request time directly with us, or there's very specific organizations kind of in specific verticals. So if you're in the building, or if you're in a restaurateur, or there's different BSOs that serve different verticals. We're more of a generalist, but again, like able to serve anyone in Cook County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the amazing things about this program is that anybody can reach out to any of the BSOs and start a conversation. And you might say, oh, you're really focusing on the restaurant industry. Let me refer you to these folks who can really fine tune what you're trying to do because they have a specialty in that area. We did have a question in the chat. I want to make sure everybody knows that the Small Business Source program from Cook County is a free program. You're not paying to talk to these business support organizations. We're going to be talking next month about access to capital. Obviously, that's something that doesn't involve funds, but you can connect with any BSO, make an appointment, go in, chat with them, and see how they can help you out. So we are getting close to time. If there are any other questions, please feel free to pop those into the chat, and we have a little bit more time to get to that. But we are going to go ahead and switch to our final slides. Yes, Dee, you have your hand raised.
I do. I just wanted to address the question in the chat from Andy. He was asking if there was any photos of the event. He was curious about the project pricing and number of people. I mean, we're hoping all of the community comes out. It's a free event. There is no charge. It's just the kind of end of summer music. I won't say it's a party because it's not, but it's just time to come out and enjoy the community, just be out, enjoy the weather, and come out and just be with others.
Yeah, and it's also an opportunity for people to learn more about Boothy Chicago and how you got to where you are, because we've seen some other questions in there. We don't want to get too much into the weeds, but people are like, how do you price your product? And how are you like making these decisions? And I mean, that's a very individual thing, but it's an involved conversation.
Yes, it really is. And that's all things that, Berwyn Shops is there to help you with. Mm-hmm. Or you just, as a maker, if you're not too business savvy, you do have to do some research yourself and learn new things and just be able to adjust. I can't share the flyer in here. It wasn't allowing me to do so, but I can share some of our products. Here's one of our, I don't know if you can see it. It's our taco earrings. They've been one of our best sellers. We have our little lemons. I don't know if it's kind of blurring them out.
There they are. Yep.
Yeah, maybe come out and check us out in real life, right? Or give us a follow, or just view us online at BoothyChicago.com. I really appreciate the time from everyone.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dee and Brian. We do really appreciate your time today, and we want to thank everybody for joining us online. Such great information, and we really hope that folks will take the next steps after this program. So we've got a slide up that's got a whole bunch of different things that you could do now. The first link is to sign up for business advising. We're going to start dropping these links into the chat. So you can go to that link and connect with a Cook County business support organization. You can also sign up for any of their events that they have, both their in-person and virtual events. Arts Alliance, as a referral partner, we're going to be doing another program next month on September 8th, and this is going to be about access to capital. So we'll be talking to a CFI that's going to share a little bit more about how you can access low-level loans, low-interest loans, and help you get going with what you're trying to do next. And then we're actually going to be doing an in-person event to kind of bring everybody together on October 20th. We have a co-working space, 2112, up on the northwest side. And we're going to be doing an afternoon program where we're going to be there in person. We're going to have some presentation time, some networking time, and we're going to have some creative business owners talk about their experiences. So really looking forward to that. We're still getting the details in place, but look for information on that to come soon. And then to engage with Arts Alliance, we have a couple great ways that are, one's coming up right now. So Sasha's probably going to talk a little bit more about this, but we have our Creative Future Roadshow. We've released a report on the creative economy in Chicago and Illinois. And we don't want to just produce a document that sits on a shelf. So we're going to be taking that out on the road, telling people more about what we found through that work, and getting insight and perspectives from folks on the ground, your lived experience, and how we can add that to understand the richness and the importance of the creative economy in Illinois.
Yep.
And I was going to say, in closeout, you can also become a member, Arts Alliance member. Through our membership, we grow our support, we grow our resources, we become a stronger community. So we're stronger together. Pass it over to Sasha.
That's great. We're at time. Thank you so much. There's in the chat, we just threw in those links. If you happen to live in the Berwyn area, West Suburban Cook, there's a special link in there for the roadshow coming up next Tuesday. That'll be at Friendly's Community Room in Berwyn for the West Suburban Cook area, again, around our creative economy impact report and meeting other stakeholders. So thanks, everyone. We're so pleased we could be here. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.